Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Morning Coffee with Back to Basics Dog Training. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Leon. I'm the head trainer here at Back to Basics Dog Training. Sorry, I hit my table here. And it is my absolute honor and pleasure to bring to you live every Saturday morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time this free live Q&A dog training session where I answer all your needs. Good morning, Andrea and Garson. We're going to get into your text in a minute. So for those of you joining me now for the first time or watching me later on the replay, shoot me a comment. Let me know you're here. Give me a shout out. Say, hey, what's up? Or whatever. Let me know where you're watching from. Does the old heart some good. So I hope everybody had a great week since last week, and we're just going to dive into it. Since Andrea's here already, we're going to go with what she asked me this morning on a text. She decided to go with a prong collar for Garson. Beautiful, beautiful, handsome German Shepherd that she sent me pictures of him. He's adorable. And the question she asked, is this a Herm Springer collar, the ones I recommend? There's a reason I recommend the Herm Springer prong collars. They were the originator of, as from what I can remember, of the prong type collar. They have the best action on them. They're humane. They're rounded metal. They're not flat, sharp edges on their metal. Everything works so much better. But there's a lot of frauds out there. You can go on Amazon, order a Herm Springer collar, or what you think is a Herm Springer. And by doing that, you get it, and then they're fraudulent. So there's a couple of ways, guys, you can tell on the Herm Springer collars. First of all, a good quality Herm Springer collar. I hope you guys can see this. I'm going to try to do this as best as I can. These prongs are rounded. They're not sharp. That's one of the things you guys have to understand. Some of these knockoff ones, the ones made in China or Japan, the prongs themselves are flattened, which makes them very sharp edges around them, and they can hurt the dog. So we never want to hurt the dog. The other way to find out if it's truly a Herm Springer is a couple places they actually put it. One, if you look at the collar, there's this flat buckle here that should be going right around here on your dog. It says, if you can see, the word Springer on it, or Springer, however you say it. Also, on the part closest to the chain, it says Springer. I think it actually says Springer HS on it. Yeah. So if you look this way, I don't know if you guys can see this. It's a Springer and then HS, and it says it on both sides of the chain. That's one great way to see if it's a Herm Springer collar. And like I said, the reason I like them is their action here. It's even pressure. All sides are moving, so it's not applying pressure to one point of the neck or the other. So I hope that helps you. If you did order that one that you showed me on Amazon, return it. If it doesn't have those markings, it's probably not a real Herm Springer. Good morning, John. John did what I told him with Luca barking at the TV, and it worked. Thank you so much. I don't need to leash him. He doesn't do it anymore. Beautiful. And John, put in the comments. Oh my God, was it an easy solution? Good morning, Susan. How are you? And how's my girl Hope? Roseanne, I'll get to your question in a second. So, for those who didn't join us last week, John had a problem where Luca was barking at dogs barking, I believe, at dogs or any animals on the TV. Good morning, Michelle and Athena. And he asked me a way to stop, and I just happened to deal with that with dogs I was watching here that were doing the same thing, and it was a very simple fix. Put the dog on the leash, play a show that has the dogs, make your leash corrections. You firm nope until the dog understands that's unacceptable behavior. Yeah, definitely order one online. And guys, I looked at Andrea real quick on that one. I looked at the amount of fur on his neck. Normally, I recommend the 2.25 millimeter. With him, I'd probably go up to the 3. Reason being is he's got a lot of fur. You got to be able to get through it to make a proper correction. So look at the 3.0 millimeter. Don't do the 2.5, which I really usually recommend. And then if you need help with the fitting and all that, reach out to me, of course. Roseanne asked, I have a rescued alpha male doodle who I'm assuming that's growls and bites when at rest. How do I get him to trust? It's 10 months since rescue. Okay, so when I'm going to have to make some assumptions here, which we know we don't like doing, but we're going to do it anyway. So he's resting. Somebody walks by him or touches him. He growls. He snaps. It's very common in a lot of dogs, and they could be very well balanced dogs that still do this. Um, Again, it could be part of his 3.0 millimeter. Yep, absolutely. One of the things you want to do is never, this is saying let sleeping dogs lie. There's a reason for it. Even my own dog Zoe, if she's sleeping, I don't usually do a touch to wake her up if she's having a bad dream or whatever it may be. I'll make a noise or something. One of the tricks to dogs that are very, very reactive to being woken up is try to get their sense of smell involved in it a little bit. And what I tell people to do is get a high value treat, chicken, whatever, and just wave it close to their nose. So their first thing, if their eyes are closed, they're going to be still smelling. Oh, food. Good. And you can give them a little piece of chicken. So you can show your dog that, hey, I'm waking you up, but it's okay. And you're going to get something for it. Eventually, you're going to wean away from the treats because you don't want to do that. But always try to use a sound before a touch when you wake up a dog. When Zoe's having a bad dream, usually I snap my fingers just to first get her, oh, I hear something. I'll say her name. And then if she's close to me, I may touch her or whatever. But I first start waking up. So oh, okay, that's you. I'm having a bad dream and it's you. It's okay. I'm safe, like kids. It's real hard because that's not a time you'd have a dog on a leash. So you have to come up with different solutions. So in the beginning, I would definitely use, if he's reactive, I don't remember if you said he or she. Yeah, him. If he is reactive to that, he can be on my lap too. I'll try. Yeah, even if he's on your lap. I mean, Zoe sleeps, on the foot of my chair with me. She has bad dreams. I always try to make a sound first, not to startle her, just to start waking up the senses. And then if this is really hard, this will be harder for you than it probably will be for him. He hasn't earned the privilege to sleep on your lap yet because he's on your lap and he's biting, nipping at you. Don't have him sleep on your lap. Have him sleep next to on a dog bed on the floor and make him earn the privilege of coming up with you. Maybe he needs to understand when you're up here, dude, I'm in charge still. And sometimes they think it's different. So you may want to change some of the dynamics around too. Athena's, oops, hold on. Why isn't my mouse thing working today? There we go. Michelle says Athena has been misbehaving lately. She's more reactive than ever. She jumps on the fence and harasses my neighbor's dog and his two small dogs as he walks by. She doesn't hurt them, but he is very terrified. Now I can only take her out in the yard on a leash. At least she didn't bite them. That's great that she didn't bite them. But you need to work on that boundary by that fence again. And I know you guys are using the e-collar. So you use the leash and the e-collar at the same time. And I would start creating at least a 1 foot barrier around that fence line, preferably even more, but I know you don't have the biggest of yards in that one area at least. But try to keep a 1 to 2 foot barrier. And when she hits that invisible line, correction, no, higher level stim, because you want to make it almost like, now you can't go there. This way, she starts respecting that boundary of the fence, and that's going to take a while. That's going to have to be consistent day in, day out. Yes, go out with the leash, make your correction. At the same time, you're going to stim. I'm assuming that's Michelle. Yep, Herschel bites, and you're okay with it because you're nuts, Michelle. So you use the higher level stim because you want to make it. That's a no. That's a bad thing. So normally, whatever her levels are, you may want to go up a little bit higher with the red button and say no. Every time, even if she's not in an excited state of mind, she gets near that fence line. Create that boundary. It's almost like using an invisible fence. But you got to do that consistently. I mean, I did that with my dogs when I lived up north because our first neighbor didn't have a dog. So I really wasn't too concerned about the fence. The neighbor that moved in after had a dog that reacted to my dogs at the fence, so I had to create a boundary of 2 feet. I think I did, or 3 feet maybe, of the fence, and they weren't allowed to go past that without being in the correct state of mind, which was a calm state of mind. So then they eventually got to the point where they could be next to that other dog who's barking at them and not react to it. But it's a labor of love. It works, but you have to do it with the right energy, and you have to ask your neighbor to participate, telling him you're going to keep him safe. So he relaxes, because don't forget, if his energy is, that could trigger Athena, and we don't want Athena being triggered. Um, so I hope that helps, Michelle. It's real. It's a hard situation because fence lines are very hard to control. Especially, I hate to say it, the PVC fences, what they can't see through is even worse for them. So with that being said, guys, I do want to hit on a topic that I worked on. It's something that I did this week with a customer. And Michelle, you can appreciate this because it's about a rescue dog. And basically, I don't know if you guys remember, about a year ago, I was working with a dog that I called as close to feral as I've ever worked with in my life. This dog was terrified of everything. The dog had no understanding of what we expected, how to coexist with us. It was a street dog, from what I understand, and basically, it was just terrified. I mean, this dog was it was heartbreaking how bad this dog was in a shutdown mode from people, from dogs, from anything. So we did a few training sessions with them last year, about a year ago, and he's come a long way. I mean, he's phenomenal. He's great with people. One of the big things is they live in a golf cart community. They wanted to be able to get him on the golf cart. He loves the golf cart now. They've made huge strides. At first, he wouldn't go in the crate. We got him to go into the crate. Now, when mom's working, he'll come into the crate and go just lay down while she's working in the office. And he's doing really, really great. He goes to the softball games, meets people, doing really, really, really well. They called me recently because he's been reacting a little bit differently now towards other dogs. He could be friendly 1 second and next second, go. And I said, okay, so let's relook at everything, see where we're standing. I went over there, did an evaluation. First thing I noticed is he's a happy-go-lucky goofball, loves his people, but he's not getting the structure because they're so happy that he came out of his shell of that, don't come near me, don't touch me, don't do nothing. And you just see us trying to put a leash on this dog at one point. I mean, it literally took me, I think, a half hour to get a leash on this dog. And he's doing so much better in most aspects, but now he's he's a happy-go-lucky goofball. They're pleased, they're happy, he loves people, he's doing this, but he's doing everything by making his own decision. There's no structure. So when dad comes home, he's excited and he's jumping and he's playing and he's doing this, and dad's feeding into all this nonsense. They go to the ballpark. I went there yesterday to work with them. Every person he wants to greet, he's pulling on the leash, whatever. And what I realized is because they're so happy that he now likes people, they forgot that he still needs structure. We weren't done with the journey that we talk about all the time. So it wasn't a horrible case. I saw him react to a couple of dogs, and it was, again, because he doesn't know how to react yet. That's the next phase of his training. So the first thing I noticed is he needs more structure. And I asked him, because in the very beginning I wanted to build the trust between him and his humans, is we worked on the structured walk that I set up. And if anybody who hasn't got those videos yet, I posted a link on my Facebook page to that playlist, of how to leash train your dog. And I'll be posting it out there again. I'll be sharing it to all the Facebook groups I'm with this weekend, because now the nice weather this year, we should all be out walking our dogs and walking with our dogs. If you're not walking with your dogs, guys, it's not as much fun. If you're walking a dog, it's work. So in the beginning, they did the structure because don't forget, when I talk about, how mastering the walk back to basic style, how to leash train your dog, whatever it is, I'm talking about doing a lot of structure, but it's also about leadership and bonding with the dog. So if I'm dealing with a very insecure dog, I like walking them because it builds their trust with me. And one of the things I did yesterday at the at the softball field with Toby is I saw he was reacting to everything, hand motions, everything, with excitement, not aggression. And I said, and when I took the leash, he shut down a little bit because he's not used to me handling a leash. It's been a year. So I took him for a walk around the ballpark a little bit and got him to start trusting me. So now all of a sudden, when we were sitting down in the bleachers and I was saying sit, he would sit, he would stay for a longer period of time when people were walking by. So we started creating the rule of how he needs to act at the baseball field, which is sit next to the owner, lay down by the owner's feet, don't react to everything. But I had to build some trust with him. So I took him for a little bit of a walk. Um, and it wasn't about him smelling, peeing, or pooping. It was about structure. So, and I go back to this every week and I talk about it constantly. That video series, that playlist that I have out there, if you haven't watched it yet, watch it. If you're not walking your dog because it's work, watch it. Change the narrative. Go with the journey. It's a fun journey if you do it step by step. And it works every single time. I've had people who have posted on my YouTube channel, messaged me or whatever, who have just watched that one thing. It's the only interaction they've had with me. Watch that one playlist, mastered episode 1, moved to episode 2, mastered episode 2, and so on and so forth. And they said they now enjoy the walk with their dogs. There's X amount of people on here right now. If everybody could put in the comments, how many people actually enjoy walking their dog? Put it in the comment. Let me know. Yes, I love walking my dog. No, it's a freaking pain in my you-know-what. Let me know. Put it in the comments. Be honest. Be honest with yourselves because it can go a long way. A lot of unwanted behaviors that our dogs have changes once we learn to master the walk. Because like I said, walking is crucial. It's about structure. No way. Absolutely. You got to get to that point. And even if you have to go to a neutral territory where there's very little distractions, Michelle, I can't get YouTube on my phone. Getting a new phone soon so I can watch it. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why you can't get YouTube on your phone. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Michelle, go to a place that maybe has no people. It's hard. I don't know where in Nassau County that could ever happen. But if you can get to a place where there's just absolutely no distractions, it's peaceful, it's quiet, practice mastering the walk. I can't tell you, I've been telling you this for a long time. You need to master the walk with her. Show her this is fun. This is about me being the leader. This is about us bonding. And this is about her trusting you. Once you master that, I'm telling you, some of this other crap just goes away. Susan says, Hope wants to say hi to all people. It's a no. I choose who she's allowed to approach ladylike for. Wait a second, I lost myself here. I choose who she's allowed to approach ladylike for petting. I only do this and now this and know this thanks to you. Last week we were at the ballpark and I allowed her to greet the teenage boys as she was excited on the field. She was so happy and patient for each of them to pet the boys. Absolutely. The ball field is off hours. It's a great place. Yeah. I don't know what Michelle has over there, but if you have a ball field, Michelle, when nobody's using it, go there. Hope was a hard case. I mean, anybody watched Susan and my interview 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Hope is a strong girl. She would pull Susan. She was very leash reactive towards other dogs. She wanted to greet all the people, but being as strong as she was, it was very, very painful for Susan. And it was very frustrating for her. She has to walk her dog where she lives. It's not like she has a choice. But we slowly but surely broke it down. And what we did is, even in the one-on-one private session we had, that 5 episodes we worked on. We did episode 1. We did episode 2. We did it live and in living color at her house. And then she used the videos as the refresher. What was I supposed to do? How should I handle this? And now she can walk home. But we also had to change a lot of, a lot with Susan's energy. And Susan, I hope you don't mind me saying that, because I talk about this week in, week out. Energy is the most important form of communication we have with our dogs, and the calmer we stay, no matter what the situation is, the quicker the process goes. And I'll give you an example of that dog, Toby. I was working with the feral dog yesterday. We were sitting on the bleachers. I saw another dog over on the other side. But I'm not going to. Another dog. Oh crap! What do I do? What do I do? I wanted to see what he was going to do, and eventually he spotted the other dog, and he let out that growl and that, like he's a tough guy. I corrected him. It didn't work. I stood up, stayed calm. Absolutely not. I said no, of course, or nope, and I just stood there. And within less than 20 seconds, he sat down, looked at me like, well, what am I supposed to do? And as soon as I got that, I brought him over to that other dog safely. I kept my body between them, of course, but I stayed relaxed. My energy was right. I was calm. I didn't care what he did. If he reacted, we were going to correct him to teach him that's not acceptable. And we were able to stand there for a good 20 minutes, 3 feet between me and him and the dog, and he didn't care at that point. Then another dog came that had a different energy. He reacted. We did the same process, and he got over it. But it's just going through the process. Same thing I did with Hope. The first time I worked with Hope, took her down. We asked a neighbor to come out with their dog. I think the dog's name was Oliver. Oliver came out. Hope acted like a moron. And it took me maybe about 10, 15 minutes to cross the street to get within a couple of feet of Oliver. And we all hung out and have a conversation without worrying about what the dogs were doing. But it's because no matter how they go with their energy, I stay calm. They just don't know any better. If they don't know any better, it's very hard for me to get upset with somebody or something. If you don't know it, how can I get upset? If I'm working in my company and I hire somebody and they don't know what I feel they should know, but they don't know, why am I going to get mad at them? My job is to teach them. And it's the same theory with the dogs. Guys, I say this week in, week out. We're teachers. And it's unfortunate that we have the human emotion of the anger and the frustration, you know, that definitely gets in our way. But I have this. It is my company motto: no anger, no frustration, no nonsense. And I mean it. You can't control your dog with anger and frustration. You can't. Susan, how did it work for you when you would get frustrated or whatever with the Hope? It didn't work. So we had to change the narrative. We had to change we were at a fork in the road. We had to choose the right fork. And, Susan reached out to me, and that was the first part of changing that direction and changing our journey to get to the beautiful work of art that Hope is today. And, Hope understood it. And this is what people have to understand. Hope understood that from day one with me. It took me a little longer to get Susan on board. Now, again, there were some circumstances in between the training journey. Susan had knee surgery, knee replacement, so training stopped. There was a lot of going on. But now she reached out to me again. We regrouped, and life is good. The journey is going, and it's a beautiful journey. It's not that, what the hell did I get myself into? And like I said, at one point, there was that fork in the road. Susan reached out to me. We started a new journey because of that fork in the road, and that's fine. So it's never a lost cause. Hope was 3 years old, I think, when I first met her. It's never too late. So Michelle, with Athena, it's never too late. You gotta get out. People, we gotta learn to get out of our own heads. What Athena mistake yesterday doesn't mean I have to live in that mistake from yesterday. I don't have to worry about the mistake from yesterday. I can move it forward because, like I said, Hope's case, 3 years, I think she was in the shelter for 3 years. Too many people would have given up hope on her. Would have given up, no pun intended, and returned her to the shelter, or worse, had her put down. And look at the life she lives now. Susan said life is amazing. Hope is living her best life now. And that's what this is about. And it's never, ever too late. The hardest part is us. Get out of the dog's past, get out of the yesterday, live in the moment, live and worry about fixing it so we don't have these issues tomorrow. Guys, let me know if this makes sense, or am I just rambling? I'm hoping it really makes sense to you guys, because I really want this to succeed, not only for this, but I want it to succeed for you guys. When I get Sue telling me life is amazing, Hope is living her best life, that's why I do this. That's why I offer this free live platform. And I keep asking you guys, like as I said, it's a free training session. I answer any questions. You can ask me any question about anything dog related, dog training related. I'm not a vet. I'm not a groomer. The only thing I do ask, guys, share my Facebook page out with your fellow dog lovers around the country. If you're part of rescue groups, share it with your rescue groups. If you have family and friends around the country, around the world that are animal lovers, share my Facebook page, share my YouTube channel with them. Tell them, hey, listen, every Saturday morning, this guy's nice enough to sit down and do a free training session for us. Every Saturday morning, make sure you use Eastern time, because we got people all over the world. Makes sense, just tough to enact. Yeah, she is. And, she's really not that unpredictable. You know what she's going to do. Just don't worry about what she's going to do. Change your narrative. Change the narrative. Instead of saying, I know she's going to react to that dog when I walk that dog. How about change the narrative? She's not going to react. Your energy changes. Because she's had these unwanted behaviors for so long, we're living in it. We're living in it. You're living in it. You're living in it. You're living in it. The more we live in the past, the more we keep them in the past. I wish, Michelle, I can get back. Next time I get back up there, we're doing a session, and I'm going to take Athena out for a walk, because she needs to get out there to realize the outside world is okay. Free is good, but I was and I am more than willing to forego the new shoes in order to better bond with my dog. Absolutely. Guys, one thing I hope you learned from me doing this platform. Right now, on Saturday mornings, I hit a plethora of things. I'll talk about whatever you guys want to. I hit issues that I see during the week. But even if you're not here in the Carolinas where I am, there's always Zoom. There's always Facebook group. There's always FaceTime. There's always Microsoft Office. There's ways we can talk and do training sessions one-on-one with you or your rescue group. And it's an economical way of training. I have to charge for it. It's usually 2 hours. If I do it this platform, it's $75 for 2 hours, guys. And I focus solely on the issues you have, not this me going here, going there, going there, going there. And it's a lot, because it's not about me handling your dog. It's really not. You guys have to learn how to do it. I'll be putting out a video. I did it yesterday, but I don't like the way it came out. Just talking about back to basics. And that one I'm going to put on my Facebook page. I'll put it on Remember Me Rescues Facebook page, because I know a bunch of you guys are here. They're definitely on my YouTube channel. It'll definitely be on my YouTube channel for all my YouTube followers. Explain who Back to Basics is. How do we come up with the way we do things? Because there are a lot of ways to do things. And, Susan said it 2 weeks ago, there are other beautiful. Susan said that I think she had a couple of, at least one other trainer there. The people with Toby reached out to another trainer down here, because it was close to where her husband works, and they thought maybe that would be a good idea. And, I'm not saying their methods are wrong, right, or indifferent, but it's not really communicating to the dog. And you need to learn 3 other trainers. You need to learn how to communicate to your dog and understand what your dog is telling you. Board and trains are great for certain cases. If a trainer tries to get you guys to do a board and train and you don't think it's worth it, don't waste your money, because board and trains are good for certain cases. I agree with that. I'm not a big fan of board and trains, but 99% of the time, I've worked with dogs after they've been in boarding trains because when they come back, they're really good. But then if you don't follow through on everything that the 2 to 3, 4, 5 weeks, whatever the training program is at the boarding train, if you don't do everything the same exact way when you get them home, they're going to go back to what they were doing because they can. So, I always say pick your trainers wisely, same way you pick your family doctor. If you're not comfortable, don't commit to them. But there are ways to do it. And that's why I said, what I do is, and Susan and whoever's been following me know, I use the term dog training. I consider myself a people trainer. I teach you about dog psychology and how to understand your dog and communicate to your dog in a language that they understand. And that's the important part. And that's why I keep saying this: no anger, no frustration, no nonsense approach works. And that if you can tune into that and then check your energy, guys, it works every single time. If anybody's interested in reaching out to me, here's my information. By all means, text me at that number, 631-514-9128. Email me at info@backtobasicsdogtraining.com. I will answer all questions to the best of my ability. I'm here to help, guys. So, Susan, absolutely, you trained me. Hope is smarter and more intuitive than me. Remember, guys, the one thing you got to remember about when you're dealing with animals, they are so in tune with Mother Nature, more so than any human. The more we can get in tune with what they're saying, we're working within their instincts and their nature. Nothing's better than nature. Not many people don't like walking through a beautiful forest or something where we're in tune with Mother Nature. When we're working with our dogs, we need to get in tune with Mother Nature. And that's the thing, because they do everything. They're not like us. They don't premeditate things. They don't do things the way we do. They work with instincts. We need to work with our instincts. And we can learn by observing what the dogs. That's how I do this. I observe what the dog is telling me. They're working on their instincts, so why shouldn't I work with my instincts? And they're the best teachers. They communicate to us constantly. We have to learn to listen to what they're saying. So, guys, if that makes sense, I'm not getting a lot of questions, so I can keep rambling on and on and on and on and on. You all know me by now. But we're going to wrap it up for the weekend. Look next week. There will be a video coming out. Basically, why Back to Basics is what I think I'm going to name the video. We're going to talk about a few things. It's not going to be a long video, but that's going to be the start of some videos, hopefully at least once a week, if not every, 2 videos a week. One of the videos we will be talking about this apparatus. One will be talking about the e-collar. They're going to be very short videos just to start taking away the stigmatism that they're bad tools, because no tool is bad if used properly. A hammer doesn't make a good screwdriver. You can try, but it ain't going to work. If you use the screwdriver as a hammer, it's not going to work. So the tools don't, if you use the tools the way they're designed to be used, they will not hurt your animals. When these tools become harmful to animals, is because we don't use them correctly. They're not bad tools. But again, you have to use it correctly. So with that being said, guys, if there's no other questions, we're going to wrap it up for the weekend. I do have a training session coming up a little later this afternoon, so I got to get myself prepared for that. As always, thank you for inviting me into your home each and every Saturday morning. It is truly an honor and a blessing that you allow me into your homes every week, every Saturday morning. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, stay healthy, stay safe, and remember, together we can help one dog and one family at a time. Guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you next Saturday.